Hello everyone. In this video lecture, we would like to explore the MMF variation along a slot pitch. That means we want to see what is the nature of MMF variation over a slot pitch. So what is the meaning of slot pitch? Slot pitch means distance taken over one slot and one tooth. So this is my one slot and this is my one tooth. So distance taken over this one slot and one tooth is known as slot pitch. So we want to find what is the nature of variation of MMF, that is magnetomotive force, over a slot pitch. So for this purpose I have taken a developed view of the rotor core. This is the rotor core and this is the developed view of the rotor core. In the diagram I have only shown 3 slots and 3 number of tooth. So this 3 slot, or you can also count, there are 3 slot pitches. This is 1 slot and tooth. So this is slot pitch number 1, slot pitch number 2 because this is slot and tooth, and this is slot pitch number 3. So basically I have shown here 3 slot pitches. So I have assumed that these 3 slot pitches are under the influence of the same pole. Let's say north pole. So if these 3 slot pitches are under the influence of the same pole, let's say north pole, in that case the current polarity for the conductors for these 3 slots has to be same. For example, if these 2 slots would have been under north pole and this slot would have been under south pole, in that case what will happen? The current polarity for this slot would be opposite to the current polarity of the conductors placed in these 2 slots. Because if these 2 slots are under north pole and if this slot is under south pole, in that case the polarity of current carried by the conductor in this slot, which is under south pole, and polarity of current carried by the conductors by these 2 slots, which is under north pole, has to be opposite to each other. So that's why, in order to avoid that kind of situation, I have assumed that these 3 slot pitches, are under the influence of same pole. Let's say these 3 slot pitches are under the influence of north pole. So that's why all the conductors are carrying same current. Let's say they are carrying cross current here. Okay. Now, for convenience, I have indicated that each slot is carrying 9 conductors. So this slot is carrying 9 conductors. This slot is also carrying 9 conductors. This slot is also carrying 9 conductors. Instead of showing this slot to be carrying 9 conductors, you could have taken a continuous area of the conductor like this. You could have taken a continuous area of the conductor and you could have divided the area of the conductor into 3 equal sections. Section 1, 1/3 area. Section 2, your area will be 1/3 plus 1/3, that is 2/3. Section 3, that is area will be 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3, 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3, that is entire area. So that could have been also done, that instead of showing this separately 9 conductors, you could have taken a continuous conductor area and then divide that continuous conductor area into number of equal sections, and then you find the current enclosed by that section of the conductor by assuming some current density of the conductor. Now, what is plotted along here? X-axis. Along x-axis I have plotted, or rather I have written distance along air gap periphery. This is because, you see, this is the developed view. That means we are assuming that the rotor core is being cut out and it is laid flat. So what is there between the stator core and rotor core? There is a air gap between the stator core and rotor core. So if an observer, although that air gap is very small, between the stator and rotor core there is a very small air gap so as to provide minimum reluctance to the mutual flux. But if an observer moves along that air gap periphery, he will see that he is encountering slot of the rotor, then he is encountering teeth of the rotor, again he is encountering slot of the rotor, again he is encountering teeth of the rotor. So the observer moving along the air gap periphery between the stator core and rotor core will see alternately slot and teeth, slot and teeth. So that's why this distance which is being moved is termed as distance along air gap periphery, because when you move along the air gap periphery, you are going to see the slot teeth. That slot teeth can be for the rotor core also, or it can be for the stator core also. Here I have taken the rotor core to be the thing of analysis. That means I am analyzing the MMF variation over the slot pitch which is there on the rotor core. So that's why I have taken the developed view of the rotor core. If you try to study the MMF variation over the slot pitch for stator core, in that case you would have to take the developed view of the stator core. So here I am taking the developed view of the rotor core. Now what is plotted along y-axis? Along y-axis we are plotting MMF, that is magnetomotive force. So what has been done to plot the MMF variation over the slot pitch? I have actually taken here 3 slot pitches. So this slot pitch is comprising of 1 slot and 1 tooth. This slot pitch is also comprising of 1 slot and 1 tooth. This slot pitch is also comprising of 1 slot and 1 tooth. So what I have done, I have chosen 3 paths here. Path 1, 2, 3. Path 1 is indicated by blue dotted line. Path 2 is indicated by green dotted line. Path 3 is indicated by black dotted line. Path number 4 is indicated by red dotted line. Path number 5 is indicated by green dotted line. Okay. So now you see path number 4 and 5, they are passing through the teeth portion. Path number 4 and 5, they are passing through the teeth portion. Whereas path number 1, 2, 3, they are passing through the slot portion. Now, in path number 1, you can clearly see 3 conductors are being enclosed. So if each conductor is carrying current I, then the total current enclosed by path 1 is 3I. Likewise, if you observe path number 2 shown by green dotted line is enclosing 6 conductors. Each conductor is carrying current I. So the path 2 is enclosing how much current? 6I. Path 3, you can see the black dotted line. It is enclosing how many conductors? 9 conductors. Each conductor is carrying current I. So what is the current enclosed by path number 3? 9I. So you see, in this way you can choose different closed path and you count what is the current enclosed by that closed path. For example, path number 1 is enclosing 3 conductors. So it is enclosing current 3I because each conductor is carrying current I. Likewise, path 2 is enclosing 6I current because it is enclosing 6 conductors. Path 2 is enclosing 6 conductors and each conductor is carrying current I. So current encloses 6I. Likewise, for path 3, 9 conductors are being encircled by path 3 and each conductor is carrying current I. So it is enclosing a current 9I. Now you apply Ampere's circuital law. Ampere's circuital law states that MMF acting along a closed path will be equal to the current which is being enclosed by that closed path. So if you take path number 1, how much current is being enclosed? 3I. So MMF acting along this line is 3I. If you take path number 2, how much current is enclosed? 6I. So you see MMF acting along this path is 6I. If you take path number 3, in path number 3, 9 conductors are enclosed. So MMF acting along this path is 9I. Now you see, for path number 4 and 5, you will find that the number of conductors enclosed is same as that which is being enclosed by path number 3. So path number 3 is enclosing 9 conductors. Likewise, path number 4 and 5 will also enclose 9 conductors. This is because path number 4 and 5, they are passing through the tooth portion, and tooth portion does not accommodate or house any conductors. Who is accommodating or housing the conductors? The conductors are housed by or accommodated by the slot. So slot is housing the conductors. Tooth is not housing any conductor. So if you choose a path which is enclosing this teeth portion, like path number 4 and 5, you will find that the current enclosed remains at 9I only. which happens to be that enclosed by path number 3. So what do you find? After path number 3, as long as this tooth portion is prevailing, there won't be any increase in MMF. It will remain at 9i, because after slot portion, what comes? The tooth portion. Tooth is not accommodating or housing any conductors. So that's why the MMF will remain at constant or fixed value of 9i. Till which point? Till this tooth portion is covered. Now you are coming to this slot number 2. So again in this slot number 2, what do you find? That if you choose a path, let's say path number 6. Let me draw it here, path number 6. So this is my path number 6, shown by this line. So this is my path number 6. So what do you see? In path number 6, how many conductors are enclosed? 9 conductors from here, 3 conductors from here. So how many conductors? 9 plus 3, 12. Each conductor is carrying current I. So what is the current enclosed by path number 6? 9 plus 3, 12. That is 12i. So you see MMF acting along this path will be 12i. Because this is 9i and this portion happens to be your 3i. Okay. This is your 3i. This is your 3i. So 9 plus 3 is 12. Similarly, if you choose a path number 7, such that it encloses these 9 conductors and these 6 conductors. So it will become 59. So MMF will increase to 59. This is 9. This is 9 and this is 6. So 9 plus 6, 59. Isn't it? The same thing here. This will be how much? This will be another 9i. So what is this entirely? 9i. This is 9 plus 9. How much? 9 plus 9? 89. Isn't it? So this is 89. So in this way you will find that MMF is changing over the slot portion. So what do you have observed? You must have observed by this point of time that the change in MMF over the slot portion is rising in a linear manner, linear fashion, whereas over the tooth portion it is not changing, it is fixed or it is constant. Again, what do you find? Over the slot portion, MMF is again rising from where it has risen for the previous slot. So say this is our slot number 1. So over slot number 1, what we have seen? For slot number 1, we have seen that MMF has changed from 0 to 9i. Of course, in a linear way or uniform way. Then it has stayed at value 9i over the tooth portion. Again from here, it is rising from 9i to another 9i. That is total of 18i. So this is your for slot pitch number 2. Again here you will find that it will again further rise by 9i. So it will be then 27i, isn't it? So in this way you see that MMF is rising. So what is important is that we should remember one thing. What is that which we should remember? That thing is that the variation of MMF over the tooth portion is not there. It is linear. The variation of MMF over tooth portion is not there. It is parallel or constant. It is not changing, neither decreasing nor increasing. Where? Over the tooth portion, because of the simple fact that tooth or teeth is not housing any conductors. So there is no change in current enclosed. Whereas over the slot portion, the MMF is changing in a linear way. It is rising in a linear fashion, in a uniform way. Again it is staying flat over the tooth portion. Again over the slot portion it is rising in a linear way. Again staying flat over the tooth portion, isn't it? So this kind of variation of MMF over the slot pitch is the actual variation. However, what is done in most of the cases, we do not take this linear variation over the slot. We don't take the linear variation of MMF over the slot portion. Rather, we take the variation of MMF over the slot portion to be stepped one. Stepped one means what? We show that there is a step jump of MMF over the slot portion. And this step jump of MMF over the slot portion is usually shown at the middle of the slot. So you see, you follow this red line. This red line is the approximation. This red line is nothing but the approximation. What kind of approximation? Approximation of the variation of MMF over the slot portion. The actual variation of MMF over the slot portion is what? This linearly rising this linearly rising curve which is indicated by blue color here is the actual variation of MMF. Okay, this blue line which is linearly rising, this is the actual variation of MMF over the slot portion. This blue line which is shown to be rising linearly or uniformly, but actually we approximate this linear variation of MMF over the slot portion by a step jump. By a step jump, where the step jump is shown, you see here the step jump is shown. The step jump is shown at the middle of the slot. The step jump in MMF is shown at the middle of the slot. Okay. So why this is done? What is the justification for doing this approximation? The justification is only one. What is that? Here I have exaggerated the length of the slot pitches. I have exaggerated the length of the slot pitches. But in actual practice, this slot pitches will be very small in length. That means this slot pitch, if it is smaller in length, then the slot also becomes smaller in length. But the number of conductors is same, so the change in MMF has to be same. So in that case, this linearly rising curve will become more steeper. And that's why we approximate this linearly rise of MMF over the slot portion by a step jump at the middle of the slot. Why? What is the logic? Logic is that in actual practice, this slot pitch is very small. So if this slot pitch is very small, what do you find? That the MMF rise will become more steeper and steeper over the slot portion. This is a slot pitch. If the slot pitch is still smaller, in that case, what do you going to draw? Let's say slot pitch is very small, like this. Let's say this is a slot pitch. But the current enclosed is same. That means here also current enclosed is 9I. In this case also, the current enclosed has to be 9I. So you see, if you want to make it 9I, then don't you think that the curve is getting steeper and steeper? So that's the logic, that in actual practice, these slot pitches are very smaller in length, or the slot pitch is actually small. So if the slot pitch is small, the width of the slot also becomes small, but the number of conductors accommodated by the slot is same. So that means current enclosed by the slot portion is not changed. However, the width of the slot is reduced, because in actual practice the slot pitch is very smaller in length. So in that case, that change in MMF has to be shown by a steeper line whose height will be also 9I, like here. So this is also 9I, this is also 9I. But what is the difference? Here width of the slot portion is larger. So this appears to be linearly rising at a less rate. That means it is more or less not rising abruptly or steeply. But here the width of the slot is smaller. However, the current enclosed is same in both the conductors. So what happens? The rise in MMF becomes much more steeper and steeper. So that's the logic for approximating the linearly rising MMF over the slot portion by a step jump. So this is an approximation which you will find in most of the book, that MMF variation over a slot portion is shown by a step jump, and the step jump is shown at the middle of the slot. So here the step jump is shown at the middle of the slot. So height of this is also how much? Height of this is also 9I. But only difference is that you are showing this change by a step jump at the middle of the slot, not by a uniform linearly rising manner. So actually the variation is linearly rising only. The actual variation of MMF over the slot pitch is linearly varying only, or linearly rising only. But for our convenience, we approximate this by a step jump at the middle of the slot. So the red one is the approximated variation of MMF, which I am showing by red color. This is the approximation of the MMF variation. Okay. So the MMF variation of the slot pitch is the approximated one shown by the red color. You see, there is a step jump at the middle of the slot here. There is a step jump at the middle of the slot, and here there is a step jump at the middle of the slot here. Okay. But actual variation is the blue one, the blue line. This is the actual variation. However, for convenience, we approximate this by step jump. So this blue line is the actual variation. Okay. And the red one is the approximated variation of the MMF over the slot pitch. Now, it is needless to say, but still I am saying that whatever is the nature of MMF variation over one slot pitch, for another slot pitch the nature of MMF variation will be same. You can see here, this is our slot pitch number 1. So in slot pitch number 1, what was the variation of MMF? Linearly rising over slot portion and flat over the tooth portion. Again for this slot pitch, what happens? Linearly rising over the slot portion and flat over the tooth portion. For this slot pitch, linearly varying over the slot portion and flat over the tooth portion. So whatever is the nature of MMF variation for one slot pitch, it will get repeated for the remaining of the slot pitches, isn't it? So this was the topic of discussion in this particular lecture, that how we actually represent the MMF variation over one slot pitch. So it is actually represented by a step jump. The step jump is shown at the middle of the slot. That's it. But obviously the actual variation is not step jump. It is linearly rising. But we show it by a step jump. Okay. That's it. Thank you.